Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. Last week I said that I would probably do an extra video on the Bandai Spirit stream and the Shizuoka hobby show to discuss the other things that they were going to show off. But there unfortunately wasn't too much to work with. First up, the Bandai Spirit stream. And the biggest thing here that was announced was the Metal Robot Spirits Altron, which is currently in the planning stage. And, well, that combined with the picture is all there is to say about that at the moment. And then the second biggest thing was showing off the Metal Robot Spirits Deathscythe Hell, which went up for pre-order on Premium Bandai on the 13th. And for 18,150 yen, 140 US, this amazing looking thing can be yours in October. As always with the metal builds, it's got a die-cast inner frame combined with a metallic finish and also some really good looking markings. Then in terms of accessories, we get 3 twin beam sights, a stored one, a normal one, and then a slightly bent one for like more action poses to make it look like it's moving just like it does in the anime. Then we get 2 sets of beam effect parts for the thing, a standard set and a full powered set. There's of course the Buster Shield, which also comes with a really nice effect part, an action base, and of course a variety of different hands. Then the only other thing they showed off was the already announced and sold Metal Robot Spirits Hrududu, and they also briefly showed the announcement of the Wound Ward. Like, yeah, of course I enjoyed watching those things, but there just wasn't anything in there that we didn't know already. And then when it comes to the Shizuoka hobby show, it turns out that I already covered the most important things, with the only real thing left being that the Master Grade Gundam X Impulse went up for reservation on the 17th, and for 6,600 yen, 55 US, this thing can be yours in August. And I really wonder how much leftover parts this thing is going to have, because when I first looked at the kit, I thought it was going to be made up entirely of new parts, because when you look at it, it keeps the shape, like the idea of the Impulse, but many parts either have like extra detailing or different proportions. But then when I looked closer, I noticed the shield, the knees, and the upper arms still had some of the original armor parts on them. So that means we'll still get at least some of the original parts, of course, together with the inner frame. Then as for the accessories we're getting with this thing, we've got the Silhouette Flyer, 2 Armor Schneiders, 2 Beam Sabers with effect parts, a Striker Pack compatible back piece, a Beam Rifle, and new non-movable Master Grade hands for it. And they also showed a Beam Rifle being able to use the Beam Saber Blade effect part. On to the Cucuruz Doan's Island news then. They confirmed that Char will not just be appearing in the movie, but he'll even be piloting a Char custom Zaku 2 high mobility type R1A. Something I was definitely not expecting. And what they also confirmed is that he's going to be piloting this machine during his battle with the Gundam during the atmospheric re-entry battle. So I wonder if that is now going to be like the starting point of the movie, or if that's going to be some kind of flashback. We'll just have to wait and see. But what you can see right now is 5 minutes of the movie, as long as you have NordVPN, because of course it is region locked. And if you don't have NordVPN yet, fear not, because if you use the link in the description down below or the code kkrt, you'll not only get access to region locked content, but you'll also get a sweet discount and support the channel. And when you do that, you'll be able to see Job John delivering Amuro in his Gundam and Kai in his gun cannon to the island in order to begin looking for possible enemies. But rather than finding Zeon soldiers, Kai suddenly comes across a bunch of kids who behave in typical kids fashion. They begin pelting the gun cannon with rocks, as if that would do something, and then the youngest one trips, begins to cry, and is then carried off by one of the girls. Like, one of the most kid things that could happen. Loved it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the island then, Amuro discovers the footsteps of a Zaku, and it won't be long before he has a close and personal encounter with the machine those footsteps belong to. Something they showed on a different occasion then is that Amuro will be bride slapped in the movie, and it even sounds like they're going to be incorporating other famous scenes in the movie that we can now experience in that new art style. So that definitely sounds like something to look forward to. And then for big fans of the movie theaters will, well, Japanese movie theaters will have advanced sales of the Blu-ray, including a limited edition that contains the movie, a bonus disc, soundtrack, 16-page special booklet, 48-page special original drawing collection, 642-page storyboard collection, and a nice jacket to keep all of that stuff in. And then finally, on the 13th, Premium Bandai started taking the third wave of reservations for the high-grade RX-7802 Gundam Cucuruz Doan's Island version and Doan's Zaku, both of which will be shipping out in December. And alongside those, the high-grade Hazel Ozla Gigantic Arms unit also got a third wave, and the Master-grade Enhanced Double Zeta Gundam version Kotoki a second one. Then, also on that day, reservations on P-Bandai open up for the Frame Arms Full Armor Meteor. And for a price of 12,980 yen, around 100 US, this thing is definitely gonna put a dent in your wallet. With a whopping 76 centimeters, this is definitely the largest G-frame thing so far, and can be displayed either with the Freedom or the Justice, or you can have it in attached to the Eternal mode. Additional accessories include giant beam effect parts, a stand for the Meteor itself, 2 extra stands to hold up the arm, a nice and thoughtful feature, and of course a piece of soda-flavored chewing gum. Freedom and Justice sold separately. Also, the Meteor is currently slated for a September release. The other limited item then is even more limited because it is only available through the Gundam fan club. The FW Gundam Converge New Gundam First Lot version. Reservations started on Wednesday for 2,200 yen, 17 US, with the thing shipping out around November. And this week, China also got some limited stuff. From Tmall, Chinese Gundam fans will be able to buy this very fancy looking Gundam vs. Zaku 2 diorama, which ships in September. It is a really cool reinterpretation of the Gundam stabbing the second Zaku in the first episode, and there's even a little missile card driving around. And what definitely caught my attention is how both the Zaku and the Gundam are ever so slightly redesigned. I'm totally on board with the Zaku's redesign, but the Gundam's extremely bulky calves don't really fit in with the RX-7802 aesthetic, in my opinion. The figure will retail for 1,999 yuan, around 300 US. Or for 499 yuan, 75 US, you can get the BN Metal Works Volume 1 RX-7802 Gundam bust. It is a really cool redesign of the RX-7802 that you can put together yourself with metal plates, and the end result just looks amazing. Like, I also love the little metal bits sticking out. Like, this thing is just beautiful. And as an extra cherry on top, the armor plates can be displayed either closed or opened to also display that really nice internal detail. This thing is currently scheduled for a June release, and because it's called Volume 1, I'm very much looking forward to future releases of this lineup. I would kill for like a Gundam Mark II or a Strike. And then if you want to keep your workstation organized in a Zeon approved way, the Principality of Zeon Desk Toolbox might be something for you. For 3,960 yen, 30 US, you can get this nifty fold-out storage thingy with enough room to store paint, nippers, cutters, cutting boards, and a variety of other stuff. And to make the whole thing super fancy, the Zeon emblem in the front even has gold foil on it. The main theme is the Zaku 2 F-Type, but you'll also find the Magella Attack, DOP, and WAPA on there. On to the gaming news then. After the pretty disastrous first public beta of Gundam Battle Operation 2 Steam version, we finally received some new news on it. Unfortunately, it's 3 sentences to just say, please wait a bit longer. And after the initial postponement notice that was riddled with typos, this really isn't the best of looks, to be honest. So I really hope they'll step up their game going forward, because I want Battle Operation 2 to succeed, if only so that we could get Code Fairy on PC too. So moving on to the stuff we could get this week. From the 18th, the internal structure RX-78-2 Gundam Black Clear version was available in Crane machines in the Net Crane Mall Torumo, which is like a regular arcade, but instead of going there in person, you use either your computer or your smartphone to play on like the crane grabbing machines. And if you win the prize, they'll then send it to you, which still sounds like a bonkers but amazing concept. And then one day later, which is today, the Gundam Seed Internal Structure Freedom Gundam hit regular game centers across Japan. It's got some really nice proportions and is available as either completely translucent or half translucent, half painted, which honestly makes me wish there was a completely painted one too. And if you want one for yourself, these kinds of figures usually hit store shelves relatively quickly after they get released in arcades and game centers. And also today, we got the 2 big releases for this month. For 5,500 yen, 45 US, there was the long-awaited and transformable Full Mechanics Raider Gundam, meaning that we'll probably soon get the Forbidden Gundam 2. And for 1,760 and 14 US, you could get the Schwalbe custom Cyclase machine. Moving on to this week's reading material then, there was the Metal Build Historia summarizing the history of all metal builds, and the final issue of the weekly Mobile Suit Bible. This time not featuring a particular mobile suit, but an index of all previously released Bibles. And I'm actually feeling a little bit sad about it, because this has been one of those things that was a staple in Gundam news. Like, no matter what happened, we always got a new Mobile Suit Bible every week. You will be missed. But what we won't have to miss is Apparel, because this time, Bankore is again coming at us in full force. First up, there was the original Gundam Uniform Motif Collection, featuring items with a design based on Amuro Ray, Char Aznable, and Giran Zabi's uniforms, and you could get them as a t-shirt for 3,300 yen, 25 US, a two-way tote bag for 5,940 yen, 50 US, a baseball cap for 3,960 yen, 30 US, a round cushion for 4,400 yen, 35 US, a mug for 2,200 yen, 17 US, and a mini towel for 880 yen, 7 US. Next up then was the Iron-Blooded Orphans Sakura Farm Collection, featuring a variety of items based on, you guessed it, the logo from the Sakura Farm from Iron-Blooded Orphans. A nice minimalistic design. You can get it on a t-shirt for 3,300 yen, 25 US, a baseball cap for 3,850 yen, 30 US, gloves for 1,430 yen, 11 US, an apron for 6,050 yen, 50 US, a big size tote bag for 4,950 yen, 40 US, a face towel for 2,420 yen, 19 US, and a mug for 2,200 yen, 17 US. And then from Iron-Blooded Orphans Order Hunt, there was the Wistario motif t-shirt for 3,520 yen, 27 US. Basically, it's a t-shirt with a vest printed on it. And all of these Bankore items had their reservations open on the 17th, and they're currently slated for a June release. And one day later, reservations started for the Gundam Seed, Kira and Kigali birthday commemorative items collection. And they definitely picked the right day for this, because their birthday is on the 18th of May. For 3,520 yen, 30 US, you can get a t-shirt inspired by Kira with the Omni logo, or Kigali with her personal emblem. For the same price, there's also a mini tote bag with the same two designs on the front, and on the back then 2 screenshots. For 3,850 yen, also about 30 US, there's a vanity pouch that combines both of the designs. And finally, for 1,430 yen, 11 US, you can get 3 types of acrylic stand. Kira and the Omni logo, Kigali and her personal emblem, and Kira and Kigali combined. And if you get all 3, they also come together quite nicely. And then the final 2 Bankore items had their pre-orders opened today. And it's a combination of their acrylic logos and jewelry. For 13,200 yen, 100 US, you can either get a Federation symbol with Gundam head and a nice looking V-fin pendant, or you can get the personal Char emblem that comes with a Char's Zaku head and an energy pipe pendant that you can also wear as a ring. And both pendants can also be stored on their respective heads, so that is definitely a cool touch. And all of these items are currently planned to be released in July. Then for the Hathaway's Flash fans, Cospa has you covered with their new lineup of t-shirts costing 3,190 yen each, 25 US. There's a Yatte Miserio Mafti design, a Gundam Dato design, a Nanto Demo Naru Hazuda design, and finally the famous pumpkin mask design, which you can either get as a regular edition or as a limited edition. And what makes this limited edition the limited edition, you ask, because they look the same in the picture? And, well, the limited version is in XXL or XXL sizes. That's it. This is the first time I've heard of t-shirt sizes being limited editions. Reservations started last week Thursday, and the shirts will be shipping out in July. They'll also be available through regular stores, so I'll have them linked down below for the people who want them. Next up then, it's been decided that on the 20th, a new Strict G store will be opening up in Shiga Prefecture's Taga. And other than the usual Strict G stuff, they'll also be carrying this store's specific shirt, featuring the RX-78-2 and a Zagok lurking in Lake Biwa, which is Japan's largest freshwater lake, and it is also believed to be one of Japan's oldest lake. The t-shirt will set you back 4,180 yen or 30 US. And then let's wrap up this week's Gundam news with some poll results. From Gundam.Info, the question was, which mobile suit are you looking forward to the most in Cucuruz Doan's Island? And the winner is, of course, Doan's Zaku, the mobile suit of the movie, and it definitely shows with 40.8% of the votes. Technically speaking, it is just the regular old Zaku we've seen countless times, but the amount of repairs done to it definitely give it its own personality. Especially the face that canonizes a bad animation shot. But Slager's Custom Gym also put up a really good fight with 31.1%. So I really hope that Bandai looks at these results and realizes that they really should turn this thing into a Gunpla. Preferably a non-premium Bandai one. And I repeat, a non-premium Bandai one. In third place then, with 16.5%, we have the Gundam, and in last place with 11.6%, we have the ground use high mobility type Egba Custom. High mobility type Zaku Egba Custom. Now, I kinda expected this unit to get some more votes, but I guess that just goes to show how popular Doan, Slegger, and their respective mobile suits are. And then 2 weeks ago, I also did a poll asking you which color scheme of the first 3 Gundams you liked best. And there were some surprises in here. The RX-78-2's rollout color scheme only garnered 11%, which I guess might have to do with the fact that it is the least well-known color scheme of the Gundam. So I guess people might just not really associate it with the thing. Like, there is something realistically charming about this color scheme. Then in third place with 21%, we have the famous tricolor color scheme, also known as the demo color scheme, the color scheme forced onto the Gundam by a toy manufacturer, or the color scheme. So while it might not be objectively the best looking color scheme, it is nonetheless a very iconic one. And then we have the one that I thought was going to be the winner, but instead ended up in second place. The gray RX-78-3 color scheme with 27% of the votes. This is without a doubt one of the most realistic color schemes, if not the most realistic color scheme on a Gundam. And in addition to that, it looks super cool too. But the winner then is also my personal favorite of the bunch, the RX-78-1's black, white, and red color scheme. It might not be as down to earth as the gray, but it does look simply badass. And then there's also the design of the RX-78-1 that just looks that little bit better than the RX-78-2 in my opinion. It's like a slightly more detailed version of it. You have those indentations in the arm and those like slits on the ankle armor to break up the more flat and boring surfaces, and you've also got that holster on the right hip. And it all comes together to form a really sweet machine that has been criminally underrepresented in model kits and action figures, and even like games and anime, to be honest. And that is also why I wasn't really expecting it to win. It is, well, it's not as obscure as the rollout version, but it is more obscure than the other two. But this is one of those cases where I'm definitely happy that I was wrong. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next time.